On Larry King Now, Penny Marshall, the actress, director, and now author. You write about personal things that happen in your life,
Yes.
but you don't want to talk about them.
Not all of them, some.
So why, if you wrote it, why wouldn't you want to talk about it?
Like what?
On politics.
I actually met President Obama in Milwaukee, and I hope him to be our next president.
Are you going to politic for him? Are you?
Yeah, I'm not too good with articulating on that. Look how I talk.
On her personal life. How did the death stories come about? How?
The rags. They had me with liver. I don't drink, but I had liver something, a kidney something. No,
You were never terminal.
No.
Plus, is there a movie that you were saying, I would have liked to have done that movie?
Well, I was off in Forrest Gump.
You turned that down?
One of my best friends had lymphoma. Sometimes life is more important than show business.
That's next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. My guest today is Penny Marshall, one of my favorite people, director, producer, actress, and now an author. Known for her role as Laverne DeFazio in Laverne and Shirley, she broke ground as the first female director to cross the $100 million mark with hit films Big and A League of Their Own, both terrific movies, both starring Tom Hanks. And now she looks back on her remarkable life and career in Hollywood in a new memoir, My Brother.
My brother
Yeah, your brother too.
nuts.
My Mother Was Nuts. How'd you come up with that title?
Well, everyone's mother was, I don't know about your mother, was she?
My mother was a Jewish mother.
Well, nuts.
You're not Jewish.
Not Jewish, but we could pass.
Nuts in what way? How do we define that?
She was a little, well, she taught dancing school. She lived for her dancing school in the basement of our building in the Bronx, between the incinerator and where you kept your sleds and bicycles. There was a place called the Ballroom. Sometime during some year, it possibly was a ballroom. It was a cellar. And so...
But that doesn't make her nuts. That
No,
makes her
but
kind
that's
of
all she did. She was in the
entrepreneurish.
cellar. Yeah, no, she didn't like my father much. So she did that, but being compared to 360 other kids is not my idea of fun. And I didn't want to dance after a while. I was a little kid, 3, 4, 5, what did I know? But I was a tomboy.
No kidding.
Yes.
I know you with sports.
You know, you've been to my house, La.
Ain't kidding.
You've seen my sports collection.
One of the best.
And I wanted to play sports, and I like guys, so I wanted to hang out with the guys. And she was always making us dance.
It's a great title, though.
Well, everyone's mother's been slightly nuts, so
Correct.
I didn't think it was.
Well, do you know a normal family?
I'm nuts. So we're all
I'm
nuts.
afraid.
Look at the business we're in.
How about Gary? Did he feel about your mother like you feel about your mother?
Yeah, but he left. See, my brother and sister were closer in age. They were planned. I was not planned for.
Oh.
So when I was 8, they were both gone. So I got the brunt of my parents' dislike for each other.
But you got that sense of humor from somewhere.
We
Gary
got it. No,
You-
we got it from my mother. We had to learn what sarcasm meant. As long as you weren't in her line of fire, you could laugh at what she said about that person, but not so much about you.
Why'd you write the book?
Well, my brother wrote 2 books. He just had this a couple of months ago, had his second book come out. And they keep thinking I'm dying, because of rags and those
There were
things.
even stories you were dead.
Yes, I
A
guess
guy came in once to my bagel place and said, terrible about Penny. What? She's going, or gone or going.
I'm not going anywhere.
What did
I'm
you have?
going
You
to
had
the
a-
Clipper and Laker games.
You had a brain tumor?
No, I smoked. From the
Oh,
time
did you
this
smoke?
came out of my mouth at 11ish, this went in.
Correct.
So that's what we did in junior high in 6th grade, 7th grade. And so I smoked for 100 years. I tried to stop smoking. With Rob, he said, please smoke. I'm begging you to go back. I get a little testy.
I stopped with a heart attack. How did you stop?
I
Or
stopped.
did you stop?
I stopped for 8 months after. No, I didn't stop. That's right. The doctor here said, there's a little spot we got to watch. Well, he didn't watch so good. And I was in New York, and I'd gone to a Giants game, football game. And I said, let's go home. Lucky I know every security guard in every arena, because he knew me from the net, so they got me a cart, because I'm working in Pumas. It's cement around up top. And so...
Got sick?
No, my girlfriend said, "You're walking funny." I felt nothing. I was fine. And why I said yes when two of my other friends came over, and bless Ronald Perlman, who you know,
Very well.
they called him. He had a car standing by, and I was in New York, and I went to Cornell, and they did, scans or whatever they
You
do.
have cancer?
I had lung cancer, and it had I can't say the word,
Metastasize.
to here, to a little
So how did you
tumor.
live? That sounds like a death sentence of lung cancer.
Well, but I smoked. I understand. I said, "Is the driver still here?" And they said, "Yeah." I said, "Could you send him to White Castle?" And that's my reaction to when things are bad. I'm very calm. It's when it's boring that I.
So how did the
crazy.
death stories come about? How?
The rags.
Yeah.
They had me with liver. I don't drink, but I had liver something, a kidney something. No, I smoked. Yes, and it went to here, and they cut it out in New York. They did it on a Friday. I was home at my apartment on Saturday because
Really?
I'm not the best patient. And I went to, on that Wednesday before the operation, I went to this thing, Beyondi's, that Lorraine Brock and I host every year for 5 years. It's the Brain Injury Association for New York State for people who were in car accidents or the soldiers coming home.
So you were never terminal.
No.
So it was
Except when I came to LA after the stitches were taken out, I had to get some radiation.
Oh.
Did that.
But you never thought you were dying.
No. I have no veins, so they put in a smart port. And the head oncologist was saying, I understood because I can't. I could live in Japan, by the way. They come in with this radioactive thing no one's allowed to touch, but they're putting it in my system, and so.
You don't smoke now, do you? Please.
Well, I stopped for 8 months.
But
I used these. I met the president in Milwaukee the other day.
He's smoking.
He's chewing the gum.
Oh, he is.
I do these Nico stops, which help, but I stopped for 8 months. From the Alan Carr method, I was shocked it worked. And then a friend of mine died, and I spoke at her thing.
How much are you doing now?
It depends. I'm not smoking the second. I have the fake ones. But they make me cough worse than... I choke to death on them.
She's got a great book. Penny Marshall's our guest. She's still terrific. Coming up, we'll talk about her role that made her a household name next. My guest, an old friend, a terrific talent, Penny Marshall. Her book, My Mother Was Nuts, is a guaranteed bestseller, got tremendous reviews. I must ask you this, and people said don't, so I'll ask it this way.
Okay.
You write about personal things that happen in your life,
yes,
but you don't want to talk about them.
Not all of them, some.
So why, if you wrote it, why wouldn't you want to talk about it?
Like what?
Like drugs and abortion. And
drugs. I don't know. You're older than me. 70s and 80s, everyone smoked pot. So I smoked pot, not while I was working.
Okay, so but is it true you write about an abortion, you don't want to talk about it? Is that true?
No, I wrote about it. I also marched with my daughter pro-choice in Washington. But it's just when they just go for that.
Oh, I'm not going for that.
No, but that's what they do. That's why I didn't want to talk about those things.
Oh, I see. They were trying to.
They were just trying to do
you.
anything that was possibly, I talk about it honestly because I did them.
How old were you?
For
the abortion. How old?
40-something.
Wow.
Yeah. That's why I didn't even know I was
Well,
pregnant.
you were in danger of losing the child then. You could.
I could have.
You'd have been in
But I
health
sat with my brother and my sister-in-law and the pros and cons, and I had a daughter already.
Yeah, you did.
And so it wasn't like I
Were you
was crying
scared?
out. It was back in the day, once it became legal, which it may switch again, unfortunately, in this country's gone mad. It was the one thing I could say I didn't do. I did everything else bad, but I didn't do that. And so that was the main thing, was that,
Fair enough.
I was the only one who hadn't of my friends.
How did Laverne and Shirley happen?
Laverne and Shirley happened because my brother asked us, Cindy and I, if we wanted to do a Happy Days episode where we were the girls who put out.
Fooled around.
We
More
fooled
than
around,
fooled around.
more than fooled around, because Richie was going through, Fonzie was fixing Richie up with Cindy if she wanted to do it, and I was going to be with Fonzie. So we said, all right. And
Were you a working actress at the time?
yeah, I had done The Odd Couple. I had done Paul Sam, Friends and Lovers. I had done little things. And I was writing, not that I can write, a script, Exterior Europe Day. It was a zoetrope for a bicentennial satire. So we were making $30 a week. I say, well, we'll do the Happy Days. And Freddie Silverman, who was head of ABC.
Wonderful man.
Great guy, who knew me from CBS, because I did a CBS series, Friends and Lovers. So he asked my brother, got any spin-offs? We needed spin-offs, because everything was a spin-off. He said, what about two girl bottle cappers from Milwaukee? That was in Thanksgiving. We were on the air in January. That's how fast.
No, did you do a pilot or you sold it?
No, we did. Took the scene from Happy Days, and Cindy wasn't sure if she wanted to do television. I mean, back then, if you did commercials, you couldn't do television. If you did television, you couldn't do movies. Now, everyone's doing everything.
Dennis Quaid's got a television show.
Yeah, but Jimmy Fallon, Alec Baldwin are selling stuff.
Yeah, you're
You know,
right.
come on, they're doing commercials. And so we finally convinced Cindy, and so we went on the air in January,
How
and
long
we
did that
premiered
run?
number one.
How long did it run?
Went off in '83.
So it ran how many years?
Started in January of '75.
8 years.
Yeah, but we were mid-season, so.
In reflection, I know you write about it. Why did it work?
I think it worked because we weren't the most attractive cast, by the way. Cindy was cute, but I wouldn't say Lenny and Squeaky or Phil Forster, who my brother wrote for when he was young.
Why did it work?
Huh?
Why did it work?
It worked because I think we were poor. We were poor. We do anything. It's for how people are today. We do anything to pay the rent or to get something. You know, we didn't have money. We were poor. That's what's going on in the country now. I wouldn't suggest they do some of the things we did, but we did do some crazy stuff to make the money, you know, whatever it was, because everyone else, great shows, Mary Tyler Moore, Murphy Brown, all those shows, they were more upper class.
Yeah, I know.
We were lower class. So
Only
the
comparable, I
Emmys
guess.
didn't like us.
No.
David Landau always would say, only the public likes us. Yeah, so.
But boy, it was great for you, though, wasn't it? I mean,
Yes,
you
we had a lot
skyrocketed.
of fun. We laughed a lot. We tried, we yelled at writers, I will admit, because we wanted it better. Then it became a physical show, and I did fall. I got hurt a lot. You know?
Penny Marshall's our guest. The book is My Mother Was Nuts. It's available everywhere. More after this. We're back with Penny Marshall. The book is My Mother Was Nuts. Your book is going to be a major bestseller.
I hope so.
Come on, you know that.
I don't know nothing. I've seen nothing.
Did you
I
always
just go
write?
from place
Did
to
you
place.
always write?
No, I don't commit to paper. I make lists. No, I talked with my accent into a tape recorder and had it transcribed. Then I'd fix it. I'm good at fixing. I'm not so good at writing.
Speaking of
'cause
what's
I'll
funny,
change it.
Neil Simon, someone said, one of the critics, that The Odd Couple was probably the perfect comedy
It was.
because you're a comedy writer. Why
No, I'm not really a comedy writer. I'm a comedy actress and directorette. But I wrote a book. It happens to be funny. But I don't write scripts.
No, but The Odd Couple was perfect, right? The matching of the two.
Well, you have to have conflict. You know, you have one guy's this way, one guy's that way, you know? And it was a great thing. I had to pitch it to Jack Klugman.
No kid, he didn't want to do it?
No, he didn't know about it. I was doing it. Then came Bronson. Remember that show?
Sure.
I got a part. I wasn't related to anyone. I was very excited. So I was going up to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and my brother said, who's in? I said, Michael Parks, Jack Klugman's guesting, the kid from Oliver, Mark Lester, and a blonde girl I didn't know. He said, well, ask Jack if he wants to do the TV version of The Odd Couple. I said, all right. Now, what do I know?
He didn't know the play?
No, I knew the play,
Yeah, but
but
Jack
I don't
didn't.
know Jack. You know, or my brother doesn't know him either. I'm no a day player. And so I went up, and when one day I said, "Would you want to do a TV series based on The Odd Couple?" He said, "Who are you?" I said, "Penny." I said, "Why are you asking me?" My brother Gary is going to do a TV version. So it was a one-camera show the first year. No
kidding.
audience. And then it was iffy because one was always happy there was one camera. And the next year they switched to multi-camera, 3 cameras, no video hookups, by the way. And so that's when they needed a few more characters. So Oscar needed a secretary. So he said, "Since your sister got me into this, why don't you use her?"
Penny, would you say that you had an unhappy life?
I wouldn't say I had an unhappy life.
You
I
had a
did
tough life.
tough, but you know, that's where you develop a sense of humor. My brother did, my sister did, and I did. You had to, or you kill yourself. You got to laugh at certain things, especially in family situations, or get out of them. There was at one time when my mother and father lived in New York. My sister was in Chicago, married. I was in New Mexico in college. My brother was in California. We were all in different time zones. Okay?
It's true, yeah.
So
You're
we
all
got
time
away.
zones.
We were,
You covered the
we
mountain,
covered them
central,
all
yeah.
and kept away. Then we all came to L.A. I came first because I got divorced, and I'm not going back to the Bronx to my parents. So I went to meet my brother, really.
Would you describe it as a dysfunctional family?
It was, they didn't even talk. I had a
No, that's-
blind grandmother. I mean, our grandparents lived with us back then because, you know, that's what it
mine too.
was. One kid needed grandfather, blind grandmother, who accused me of making her blind. I'm tripping over my bicycle. She had glaucoma. She wouldn't go to the doctor. But you live with that. You know, those are the kind of things that you sort of get.
How did you get into sports? I mean, you're everywhere. Baseball, football, no hockey. But baseball, you're into sports.
I'm into
And you're a
sports.
I've been in your house.
Well,
You're a sports
growing
freak.
up, you grew up in Brooklyn.
Yeah, hey.
But didn't you play outside?
Of course, stickball, punchball.
Everything. We played outside. Who wanted to be in the house?
But
Not with my
girls,
parents.
if girls played, they were weird, though.
Well, do I potsy and jump rope? You know, but I played the boys' games.
Yeah, why? You were just...
Because I was athletic, and I went to summer camp.
Ah.
So I knew I was an athlete. I wanted to be an Olympic runner, but my mother didn't encourage that. Rather dancing, and she says they don't like it if you're better than them, if you beat them. Which has some truth to it, I would
Marty Glickman
imagine.
felt that, yeah. What teams were you attracted to?
I was born up to. I'm from the Bronx. I'm a Yankee fan.
Still?
Yes. And I still don't, you know, hadn't met anyone over 5'6", 5'8" in the Bronx. Come on, get real. And
So Rizzuto was your hero.
Look, we cut school. There were a lot more day games, and we went to sit in the bleachers. Maher and Mantle were in the outfield.
60 cents, right? What was the bleachers when
It
you...
was 50 to 75, somewhere in there.
Coming up, Penny will talk about politics. We'll take some of your questions, too. The book is My Mother Was Nuts. Don't go away. We're back with Penny Marshall, the book My Mother Was Nuts. She says I'm yelling it too loud. I'm trying to help with the book.
No, I know you are. I bless you for that.
We're old friends. I love Penny. Are you involved in this campaign?
I actually met President Obama in Milwaukee Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice guy.
He is.
And I hope him to be our next president.
Are you going to politic for him? Are you?
Yeah, I'm not too good with articulating on that. Look how I talk. But I do. He's a very nice man. Took pictures. We talked about smoking. He chews the gum. I wore the patch.
He's
and the
been a
fake gum.
smoker since high school.
Well, that's what you did back then. We didn't do drugs. We didn't know from drugs.
That's right. Everybody smoked.
Yes.
When
Later
I broke into
LA.
radio, everybody in the radio station, engineers.
My father did stuff. He smoked.
Yeah,
And my
my father
mother and
smoked,
father
sure.
smoked.
Did everyone in television smoke when you were breaking movies? They all smoke, right?
Yeah. Look at the movies. That's why Mad Men, they smoke.
How did you come to League of Their Own? What a great movie.
I saw a documentary
On
about
women
these
in
women.
business.
And I never heard of this league. And if I didn't hear about it, that means somebody else didn't hear about it. I'm not the only stupid person. So I asked women to write it. Women writers, no one wanted to write it. So I went again to Mandel, and Lowell worked on Laverne and Shirley, my show. And they're a big sports fan, baseball especially, and basketball. So they said yes. So we went to the Hall of Fame. We met with the real women. And
what a movie.
And I just thought, I always think if I don't know it, somebody else doesn't.
You got a great performance out of Madonna.
Yes, I did.
And Big, what a movie.
Well, that was the third one out with the same premise. We were the last one out.
There were two others about a...
Like Father, Like Son, and vice versa.
Wow, but yours was a big hit.
But we were the last one out. I didn't know. And there was a Del Grande, an Italian one.
And who wrote the line, "There's no crying in baseball"?
Gans and Mandel.
Great line.
Great line. But there is crying in baseball. There's crying in every sport, by the way.
There is. That's right.
But
all right, we have some social questions for Penny.
Oh, social.
Dananit asks, is there a film script you would have liked to direct? Was there a movie that you would have said, I would have liked to have done that movie?
Well, I was offered one, Forrest Gump. Tom called me.
You turned that down?
A friend, one of my best friends had lymphoma. And he was very sick. And so sometimes life is more important than show business. So I said, I can't. I got to stay put. And so
Who directed that?
Bob Zemeckis.
Won Academy Award. Steve Tisch produced it.
I thought.
Steve Tisch was one of the producers.
He owns the line.
Leninsky wants to know, what kind of bullying did you come across in your career? Were you bullied?
Was I bullied? No.
As a kid, a tomboy must have been bullied.
Yeah, but no, I could hit and run faster. One of the guys from junior high who would have come up from Maryland to New York, he said, you always used to hit me and run, and I could never catch you. I said, that was my way of getting attention and flirting. But I was bullied, but not really. I don't get into confrontation. You know, I could usually mix with any different, and I could run fast. I could usually mix with any crowd.
Furlong News wants to know about your sports memorabilia collection. I've seen it. It's one of the best there is. Do you have one treasure in there what's your most valuable treasure?
What's valuable or what costs them? I don't know the difference. I like the zoetrope thing that shot heard around the world with Bobby
great.
Thompson, Rob Branca.
That's not bad. Branca. You say Branca?
I don't know. I'm not from
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Care. You waited for the World Series and you won the World Series. Renazkis wants to know, you're a big L.A. Clippers fan.
Yes.
You think we're going to have a big year?
We should have had one last year if Chauncey hadn't gotten hurt.
Yeah, we got Grant Hill now.
Grant Hill and Chauncey's healthy, so hopefully, yeah. I got Laker bling on, but I like a Clipper thing.
You root for both of them, though, right?
I go to both games. And if I'm in New York, I go Knicks Nets.
When they play each other, who do you root for?
Depends.
On?
Who I'm sitting there.
Jack Nicholson, you root for the Lakers. Okay. E. Teresa Tui wants to know, how is directing different now than it was 10 years ago? Is it different?
Well, digital is different. You know, I only use the monitors. They didn't have monitors when I started, but I only use it to see where the background stands, to fill out the screen. But I stand next to the camera and look in the person's eyes, in the actor's eyes. I don't like to...
No? You depend on the
There were directors that sit, 20 writers and directors sit by monitors.
You depend on a cinematographer a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Very important, right?
I wouldn't know a lens if I tripped over it. That's his job. I like it clear in the front and clear in the back. And they have their jobs. That's their job. It's not my job.
You're a doll. You be well.
Thank
Stay
you.
well.
You too.
Penny Marshall. Her book is, if you didn't know it already, My Mother Was Nuts. And you can find me on Twitter at King's Things. Thanks for joining us on Larry King Now.